Hi everyone, welcome to InfosecTrain, and this is Dhyani. Today we'll be learning about the forensics part and the incident response. Right? So let's start, guys. So this is our day two for security booster and incident response and introduction to digital forensics. Now, what is incident? The first question we are going to learn is what is incident? Incident is a word that gives you what? That gives you the insights that incident, event, it is an event, but some mishappening happened. That's why we call it incident, right? So some mishappening has happened. Now, if we talk about incident response, so what is incident response? If there is an attack and how you will do what? How you will respond to that attack. If your organization is under an attack or the attack happened, so how you will respond to that. So that is what? That is your incident response, guys. Right? So incident response, there is a team of incident response team. So it is their responsibility, right? So what happens in incident response if we talk about, so there are some formal policies and procedures that will help you in taking effective incident response, right? Now if we talk about incident response team, so we call it CERT, CIRT. It stands for Cyber Incident Response Team, right? So preparing for incident response and establishing the policies and procedures for dealing with like your security breaches and personal and resources to implement those policies. So those are the peoples who do these things, right? So one of the first challenges lies in defining and categorizing the types of incident, right? So incident, if we describe incident, so it is an event where your security is breached, right? Now there is an organization with the name, so NIST is a framework that stands for National Institute of Framework Standard Technology Framework, right? So this is the full form and this is the full name. Like it is NIST, we call it NIST framework, right? So NIST is what? NIST is a framework and a tool to organize and improve your cybersecurity program. So these are the guidelines and the practices to which are helping the organizations to build and improve their cybersecurity posture, right? Now if we talk about NIST, so NIST says, if we talk about incident response in NIST, so it says the act of violating and ex explicit or implied security policy. That is what, that is your incident response. Now, in incident response team, we also have CSIRT. So, what is CSIRT? It stands for Computer Security Incident Response Team, right? So, this is also a team that is inside the organization, and that is also helping the organization to take decisions and what to give the responses, what response you will give to the person or give to anyone who is working over there, and what will be your response towards the incident or the attack. If any security breach happens, then what will be your response for that. Then again, one more thing, one more team we have. So the full form of sort is Computer Emergency Response Team, right? So this is also a team. And we also have SOC team inside, so Security Operations Center, if you guys know. So Security Operations Center team is also there, right? Now, what we have incident response cycle. How the things work in incident response, right? So there are some steps. And the first step, if we talk about, so the first step is your preparation, then detection and analysis, containment, eradication, and recovery, post incident activity. Now, in the NIST, if we talk about the publication of NIST, so if you will find about it, NIST SP 800 61R2. So inside SP 861R2, this is the documentation for cyber security incident handling, and it is a guide from the special publication, right? So this is your what, if we talk about, this is the real thing that is followed in the organizations. Otherwise, preparation is there. If you go for the certifications, so preparation is there, then this is called identification, right? And this containment, eradication, and recovery, these are the different steps. And this post incident activity, this is also same. So that's the change, right? Now let's talk about this cyber incident response cycle. The first one is preparation. What do you understand by preparation? You will be prepared for an incident. Like if by any chance anything happens, or your any, if we talk about any hack happens, so how you will prepare? You will do what? You will make your systems resilient to the attack, right? So how resilient your systems are, that is the first place. And inside it, what you will do, you will, no, there, Mr. Sheikh Nasiruddin, there is no issue right now. But what we are doing, we are preparing for it. That if any hack happens, how will we respond to it? How will we detect? So first, we are preparing for it. So we are doing, we'll be doing what? We'll be doing system hardening, right? We'll be writing the policies, different policies, procedures, and we'll be setting up the confidential lines of communication, right? So will be doing that. We'll be working with the tools. We'll be preparing our tools, right? So toolkit is the most important thing over here. Our toolkit should be always ready. So our will be using our toolkit to just to perform the other steps. So that's why toolkit will be preparing for the toolkit as well, right? Now, next thing is detection and analysis. Now, what happens in detection and analysis? So what we'll do, like there is an alert, right? Let's say you have deployed one IDS, intrusion detection system. It detected something and it gave you an alert. Now, from the information in an alert or report, you have to determine whether an incident has taken place and how severe it might be, right? And you will detect the things, then you will analyze the things, right? So, what happens? Like, if you guys have heard about a tool with the name Security Onion. Anyone who has heard about Security Onion? The Security Onion is a tool that has various tools inside. Like we have Snort, we have Hive, the Hive inside, and many tools inside it. Right now, the thing is, guys, here what happens? Let's say Security Onion is working; it is monitoring our network. Right. So if any malicious packet arrives, right, any malicious packet arrives, so that packet will be doing what? There will be a warning sign in front of it, right? So let's say the name of the packet is XYZ. So this is the thing. This is how that packet will be shown to you. Now you are show getting the packet like this, and you are doing what? You will do what? Before letting this particular packet inside the network, right? You will first analyze it. So for analyzing, we have what will send this particular packet towards the Hive, right? So the Hive is another tool inside Security Onion. Then we'll open the Hive and then we'll read about it. We'll open that packet, we'll see what is inside, and we'll also check whether this packet is malicious or not, right? So in Hive, we create cases, right? So let's say you are working in this team, in the SOC team, and what you found? You found a packet that is malicious, and this is the like last half an hour of your shift. So you went to your office 9 a.m. in the morning, and from 9 to 5, you have to be in your office. So it's 4:30 in the evening, and you found this packet. So you will sit for half an hour, and like you found this packet, you will forward this packet towards the Hive. Now in the Hive, what you will do, you will just go to the packet and open that. If you are able to find something inside the packet, then it's good. If not, so then that packet will be staying inside this Hive. Then your another person, the next person whose shift starts from evening, who's working in the evening shift, that person arrives, and that person will do what? That person will now again open this. He will first check the Hive if there are any cases, and if there are, so he will try to solve those. Right? So that's how this thing works. Same like that in detection and analysis. We detect things. If there is anything malicious, So we are doing what? We are analyzing any packet and detecting if malicious things are written inside or not. Containment, eradication, and recovery. What do you guys understand by this? Now, if we talk about containment, first thing. So what you are doing in containment? Now, people are who are from India or like from any other place as well. When in 2020, COVID was there. In March, COVID like lockdown started from like 22nd or 23rd March. Yep, right. So your uh, lockdown started and it ended like the whole year we were in lockdown. Then the whole year people were in lockdown. Now what happened? Then again, everything started opening, the shops and everything started opening. And what happens? People are like roaming and everything's happening. But again, the COVID started spreading again. But now, where you are finding a case, so so the new policy was what? Put that area in the containment. So if you have something like green signal, so your area will be open. Otherwise, if you are in the containment, so you have to stay in containment, right? So there were containment areas where those areas were closed, right? So same like that, if we have this. Yep. Yes, Mr. Sheikh Nasiruddin. So we have these devices, right? Now what happens? Let's say your devices are undergoing an attack, right? So what you're doing, you are your thing is under attack, right? So what you will do now? Let's say this is PC 4, right? One, two, three, four, right? PC 4 is under attack. So what you will do, you will first disconnect it from the network. Now, after you have disconnected it from the network, that means you have isolated it. You will put that PC in the containment, in the isolation, so that that attack never spreads. So, if right now, when COVID was there, if anyone was infected with that virus, so he was inside isolation. So that person has to s- be inside isolation. So everyone was isolating that person. So that is what? That is your containment. Put that thing in the containment, right? So if it is a critical service, then we have to face the downtime as well. Let's say our server is attacked, server is under attack. So we have to unplug that server from the network, disconnect that server from the network, and then you are able to do what? Then you are able to eradicate, right? So eradication is a simple English word, right? So eradication means what? Removal, right? So what we do in eradication, mainly we try to find out root cause analysis. So in root cause analysis, what we do, we try to find out the exact problem. So analyze the issue, correct, Mr. Sheikh? We are analyzing the issue and we are trying to find out the exact problem, what the problem is. Like, again, the same example. Like, there was what, if you are having a normal viral fever as well, the doctors were checking that what is the root cause of your fever, why you are, like, your temperature is rising. So sometimes it's normal viral, due to some normal viral, but sometimes it was your COVID, right? So we have to do the root cause analysis of it, right? So that is your eradication. Now, in eradication, what we have, let's say, if I give you a situation, let's say my computer is shutting down rapidly, right? It is just, I'm starting it, it shuts down and again starts up and then shuts down. Where then, like, again, I started it. It started, right? Now it's working fine. But there is an issue which is making my device to do this, like starting and shutting down. So where I can check this issue. So if I do this and open this, so different types of logs we have: application security and setup, system, many logs. Now if I click on this log, I'm not able to read anything. So what we have, guys, let me tell you. We have something with the name reliability monitor, right? Here you can see all the things, everything you can see. Can you see the warnings, the critical events as well? So this thing, Windows Shell Experience host, it stopped working, right? So you can open that. Now, a problem caused this program to stop interacting with Windows, right? Now, problem event name, mo app hang, right? This is the hang signature, every information. So this reliability monitor is the best thing, and you can find out the technical things, the description of everything, right? Right? It will give you everything that happened in your Windows. So that is your reliability monitor. Great. Now next thing that we have is recovery. Now what is recovery, guys? Now recovery means coming back to normal business operations. So we can restore from backup servers, right? So there is a loop from recovery to detection analysis again. Now this is called feedback loop from recovery to detection and analysis. What is the significance of that? It is a kind of re-verification. So it is re-verifying if there is anything that is detected, right? So this is the re-verification of that, right? And then again it moves to the other step, and after that, post incident activity. Now what is post incident? Now, post incident activity is called lesson learned. What lesson you learned from this whole incident? So, what we do inside it, we write run books. We call them run books or workbooks, right? So, those run books or workbooks we will write, And inside those runbooks and workbooks, we'll write preparation phase, the detection or identification, and containment, how eradication happened, how recovery happened, and lesson learned is written inside it. Right? Now, we talk about evidence retention as well. So, if we have any evidence, so the retention of that evidence, for how long we'll retain it, we'll talk about that as well. So, you found something is damaged into your system or network. It is how much time period you will retain it with you, right? Same like that, if you found anything, right? If you found anything, so if there is an evidence, or if we talk about the run books or workbooks, so for how long you will retain it with you. Like for India, like if we talk about, so for India, we have 1 year. So what it is for, like this is your SOC team, and in your SOC team, a new person arrives, right? A new person who is working, a new person, a new joinee arrives in your organization, in your team. You are the team lead of your SOC team, your SOC level 3 analyst. And what you will do for the starting, you will provide that person a workbook, right? So you will do what? You will give them your workbook to read that what happened in the organization, how we eradicated the things, now what is the security structure of the organization, right? So that person will know everything about the organization, right? And in US, same, like in India, minimum 1 year, and USA, it is for 2 years. So you have to retain that document with you for 2 years. And then from the post incident activity, we again go to the preparation phase to prepare for any other incident, and we tighten our security. Now, next thing that we have is Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain. So Lockheed Martin is what? First thing, the cyber kill chain. This mimics the stages of pen testing. The creator of cyber kill chain was Lockheed Martin, right? And this kill chain is coming from World War II. So there was a model that is called F2T2EA. So means find, fix, track target, and engage in access, right? Find the target, fix the target, track the target, make him the target, make him if there is any enemy, so make him the target, engage him, and attack him, right? So that is the thing. Now, Lockheed Martin is an organization that is working and that created the cyber kill chain for pen testers. So these are the stages of pen testing mainly. Reconnaissance means finding out information. The simple meaning of reconnaissance is information gathering. So you are doing what? You are finding the information about the target. So if you are doing a black box testing where you don't know anything about the target, so they will just tell you that you have to attack these things. Now what you have to do? So, in this reconnaissance stage, you will determine what methods to use to complete the phases of attack and gather the information about your target's system or your supply chain or personnel, right? So, that is reconnaissance. Reconnaissance means your information gathering. right? Next thing that we have is weaponization. Now, what is weaponization? So, in weaponization, we do what? We write the payload code. So, if I want any malware or any payload to send towards your victim, right? So, I will write that code in the weaponization. So, in weaponization phase, we are choosing our weapons and creating our weapons. So our weapon is payload. So we'll be sending payload towards the target, but first we need to have that payload, right? So that is your weaponization phase. So you will do what? You will couple payload code, and that payload code will enable the access with the exploit code, and it will use a vulnerability to execute on the target system. So delivery means, like, we are delivering, we are the attacker will do what? The attacker will identify a vector by which you will transmit the weaponized code to the target. So we are sending our code, the payload code that we have written. Now we are trying to send that code towards the victim. Now that victim is trying this thing. So how will you send that? As an email attachment or using USB drive or any other thing, right? So these are the things by which you can send. Now next phase is exploitation. So what is exploitation phase? So exploitation is what, guys? If we talk about exploitation, so in this exploitation, the weaponized code is executed on the system, right? So the code that we have sent, it is executed on the system. Like we have sent a phishing email. So that phishing email may trick the victim into running the code, while a download will execute on a vulnerable system without user intervention. So if you are, it depends on you how you are sending it, because you have gathered the information about the target, so you know what will be good, right? If you are sending code through email, and that person is not, that person has to download it and then install it, right? So that is the thing. What if he does not installs it, right? And if you are sending something through drive, right, so that will be automatically installed. That person does not have to install anything, right? So victim will not have to install anything, so there are more chances that the victim will be in our trap, right? So that is exploitation. Then installation phase. Now, in installation phase, what we do, guys, if we talk about the installation phase, so it does what? It enables the code to run a remote access tool, right? So the code that you have sent, what it will be doing? That code will be running a remote access tool, so that you can directly connect to the system of your target, and using remote access tool, you can remotely connect to that system and be the root user of that system, and then you will achieve the persistence on that system. So you will be maintaining the access. Now you have exploited the vulnerability, now you have to maintain the access. Then next we have command and control. Now what is command and control? So while doing the attack, what we do, like, our payload has given the remote access. Now what we want to have more things. We want to make our attack more good. So what we'll be doing, this thing will be doing what? This command and control. The code that we have sent, the weaponized code, it will establish an channel, outbound channel to the remote server. And it can do what? It can be used to control the remote access tool. And it can download additional tools to progress the attack. So that is your command and control. So under your commands, it will download more tools, and using more tools, your attack will be good, right? Next, we have exfiltration. Now, what is exfiltration, guys? Now, attacker uses the access that was achieved, and he covertly collects the information from the target system and transfer it to some other system, some remote system. That is data exfiltration, right? So, which we call this phase, this last phase, apart from exfiltration, it is also called action on objectives, right? So, action on objectives and data, yes, your exfiltration, one and the same thing. We are doing what? We are uh, taking the data from the system, from the victim system, and we are sending it towards the remote system, right? Now, there was a word that I said that the person does what? When the attacker has achieved the access, he covertly gets the information. Now, what is the meaning of covertly? Covert means closed, and overt means open, right? So there are two things, covert and overt. Covert data security and overt data. Now, covert means there is a data in front of you, there is no data in front of you. Understood the line? That means data is flowing, but you cannot see the data. Data is being transferred, data is in front of you, but data is not in front of you. You cannot see that because the data is hidden behind any image or behind any video. That is covered data. Overt means open. Data is in front of you, but it is in encrypted format, so you can see it, but it in encrypted form. So if you have the key, you can like decrypt it. Otherwise, you cannot decrypt it. That is what. Now, next thing that we have is digital forensics. So, what do you guys understand by this word digital forensics? It is a practice of collecting evidence, right? So, the practice of collecting evidence from computer system to a standard that is accepted in court of law. That is your digital forensics. We can do what? We can capture all the data, all the evidence that is there, and we can directly show it to the court. Like if you are hacked, so you will file a complaint in the court, and court will like wants to see that if you are really hacked or if you are just saying the things. So that is what you cannot directly show the data to the court, right? You cannot directly show the raw evidence. You have to do what? You have to keep that in a format so that court will be accepting it, right? So forensics investigations are launched against crimes arising in the insider threats or your fraud, misuse of equipment, these types of things, right? So that is your digital forensics. Now, there is what? There is a thing that is called your. So, your digital evidence is always latent, right? Latent means that the evidence cannot be seen with the naked eyes. It must be interpreted using a machine or a process. Now, this means that great care must be taken to ensure the admissibility of digital evidence, right? And physical evidence, like your hard drive, for instance. So, digital forensics require documentation showing how the evidence was collected and analyzed without tampering or bias. So, if you want to show it to the court, you have to give that document as well, right? So, there is a term in US and UK with the name due process. So, due process is used as a common term that is used in US and UK. It is common law to require that people only be convicted of crimes following the fair application of laws of the land. Process can be understood to mean having a set of procedural safeguards to ensure the fairness, right? So that is the thing. Now, then we have something with the name legal hold. Now, what is legal hold? It refers to the fact that information that may be relevant to a court case must be preserved. So, information subject to legal hold might be defined by regulators or industry's best practice, or there may be litigation notice from law enforcement lawyers that are pursuing a civil action. So, computer system may be taken as a evidence with all the obvious disruption to a network, right? So, chain of custody is what it is, a documentation that reinforces the integrity and proper handling of evidence from collection to analysis to storage and finally to the presentation. So, when security breaches go to trial, the chain of custody protects an organization against the accusations that evidence has either been tampered with or is different than it was before, right? Or when it was collected. So every person in the chain who handles the evidence must log all the methods here, what methods they used. So released by, received by whom, what methods you used over here, at what location you were at that time, right? So that is your chain of custody, right? Then we have something which is called digital forensics report. So if we talk about digital forensics report, so it has a summary of all the significant contents of your digital data and the conclusions from the investigators, the forensics investigators and the analysis, like analysts who are working. Now, some ethical principles must guide forensics analysis. Now, if we are doing analysis, so it should be performed without bias, right? The conclusions and the opinions should be formed only from the direct evidence under analysis, right? Then the analysis methods must be repeatable by third parties, right? With access to the same evidence. And the evidence must not be changed or manipulated. So if a device used as evidence must be manipulated to facilitate analysis, let's say, right? So the reasons for doing so must be sound and process of doing so must be recorded. So a video of that thing must be recorded, right? Now your videos, and there will be witnesses who were there while everything was happening, right? So while you are manipulating with the evidence, while you are working with the evidence, so there will be witness from outside that will be telling everything. So one by one they will be visiting the court will be asking questions what happened, taking the statement of everyone, and then they will be coming to a point, coming to a conclusion. Now we have one more thing which is called data. Getting a forensically clean copy of data from a device that you have, and it is an evidence, that is acquisition. So if the computer device is not owned by the organization, there is a question of whether search or seizure is legally valid, right? So it will be impacting a policy, that is your BYOD, bring your own device policy, right? Now, data acquisition is also complicated by the fact that it is more difficult to capture evidence from digital crime scene than it is from a physical one. Then we have FTK, forensics toolkit, the forensic toolkit. Then we have the sleuth kit, right? So we do autopsy in this. So autopsy is what? It is a graphical front end for these tools, and it acts as a case management workflow tool. So the program can be extended with the plugins and all, right? Then we have something with the name WinHex as well. And we also have the volatility framework, right? So these are the things that are used in your digital forensics. Now you can go with the logs as well. So we have different types of logs, everyone knows, like your in Windows logs, if you will see application logs. So these application logs are about any application that you are using inside your device. Security logs. So in security logs, while you log into your Windows, so that auditing happens at that time. So if that audit is success, like you can see over here, audit success is written. So that is audit success, right? Then we have setup logs. So why when you installed, when in Windows was installed in the system, so at that time the setup logs were created. Now if you are getting problems in Windows, right? If you are having some problems, like you are not able to find out anything, or you are not able to do anything in the Windows, and Windows is giving some error, so you can check that in the setup logs, that while installing Windows, was there any error that we did, was there anything that we left. Then system logs, whatever the services are running, like it's giving you warning and all the things, like there is one more error as well, so you can check that as well. Wi-Fi direct virtual adapter, mini port has failed a power transition. So that is the thing, some errors are also there, that are for like when you plug in a USB and you just directly unplug it, you are not first ejecting it from the device and then unplugging it. So that's the thing, that this will also give you a warning. Forwarded events, if you have forwarded any events, if there is any problem with your device and you are forwarding those events towards anyone else, so that is your forwarded events, right? And it is your event viewer, right? So this is about your digital forensics, the introduction, right? So that's all for today, guys.